Hey,
Hello.
I got you a flute,
Oh.
and I'm going to teach you how to use it today.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to start by taking it out of its case carefully. Just undo the latches really carefully. Make sure it's really set on your lap so it doesn't fall out.
Right.
Usually we put them on, like for other instruments, you put it on the ground to open it up, but I mean, I think we'll be responsible enough to make it not fall.
Okay.
Okay, so I will explain to you what parts are what. So it's really simple. There's only 3 parts. This is called the head joint, where the mouthpiece is. This is called the foot joint, which it goes on the end of the flute. And this big, long part is the body. Okay, so I will show you how to align the flute properly. First, let's just start by getting out the body, but make sure you don't grab it by any of the keys or the rods because you don't want to bend any of them. And then let's start by putting the mouthpiece on. So how about we just go ahead and put the case on the ground, maybe pick it up as we go. So take your head joint, and then what we're going to do is you're going to align the mouth hole, and when you put it together, you want the mouth hole to directly align with the center of this first key. And when putting it in, you want to gently twist it back and forth, because if you just jam it in, it might get stuck.
Okay.
So make sure as you do it too, like you're not grabbing onto any of the keys or the rods. So just kind of guide off me. You can just grab it like this and twist until it's all the way in. Yeah, and then just a way to check, I don't know if you see the flute people do this during band, but like you can kind of look like that and like kind of line up with the center of the key.
Oh, okay.
Because if it's not aligned, it's not going to play very well.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. Now
Yeah, do you kind of see that?
It, yes.
Yeah, good. Next, we will pick up the foot joint out of our case. And this one, we are going to line up this. So do you see this rod down here, right there? You're gonna line that up so it's in the center of this key right here, which is the C sharp key. So you can kind of watch what I do first and then follow. It's kind of hard just with the buttons because there's so many on the foot joint. But just be as careful as you can, twisting it. It's kind of hard on mine because like it's bent and stuff. Okay. Yeah, maybe move it more like a little bit there, so that way it's like centered.
Oh, okay.
Great. So now you know how to put together a flute.
Awesome.
Great. Just another reminder, I know that as brass instrument people, we are used to cork grease, but make sure if you do decide to play flute in your future, just don't use any cork grease on this because the metal is made especially so you can easily twist it and that will never get stuck, hopefully. So just a little reminder.
Thanks.
Okay, now we are going to do hand position. There are 3 main balance points. Like at first I was kind of scared of flute because like I feel like it's so light and that it would just fall once I play. But they have 3 main balance points. Sorry. And then, okay, so the first balance point before starting to play I want to tell you about is the chin. So the chin will go like this. The second balance point will be this part of your left hand index finger, which I'll just show you how it goes and and then it'll be like this. And then the other balance point will be your right hand thumb, which is right under the F key, right here. So these are your before going into holding it, just think of those 3 main balance points if you feel like, you know, because sometimes beginning flutists feel kind of insecure about holding it, so they like get really tense and tight and they're like, this is not gonna fall, like, so that's just a thing to remember. And let's see, so I'll show you where the fingers go. So, left hand first. You'll put your index finger, you'll skip this key up here.
Okay.
So your first finger will go on this second key. Then you skip a key.
Okay.
And then you put your middle finger on the next key, and then they should line up. Hold on. Yeah, it should be like this. So index finger, skip a key, middle finger, and then they go in succession. Yeah, boom, boom, boom. That way, like, your pinky can easily put down that key,
Okay.
which is the G-sharp key. Yeah. Just make sure this is directly over the key, because you want to keep your fingers, just like, lightly over the keys, no pressure or anything, just so they're easily accessible. And then the right hand, you're going to go down two keys. And then it will be in succession, 1, 2, 3.
Oh. 1,
Yeah.
2, 3.
Yeah, like that. And then your pinky will be resting on this key right here. Yeah, that little one right there. Great. And also an analogy for good hand placement is pretending to take a book off a bookshelf like that. So your hand's like this, and it's nice and relaxed. And your fingers should be slightly curved. And other reminders, with your left hand, your wrist should be slightly bent, and the joint of the index finger should rest on the flute. So kind of like this, I hope. Yeah. And then also, like, better examples are watching professional flute players other than me, who has just had it for 8 weeks. So if you want to be a professional flute player one day, I recommend watching videos. And then, yep, so fingers should be slightly curved, so they're naturally hovering above the keys. And then the right hand, little reminders, the thumb should be under where your index finger is, so, and that's one of the main balance points again.
Yeah.
So if you're wondering where your thumb goes, and you can just use like the side of it like I am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's good. Just make sure it's not like jutting out too much. You don't want it to be like that. Just, nice and comfortable. And then, yep, your wrist should be straight, more straight than the left hand. And then your fingers should be naturally curved. This goes for like all of it. Another thing for the left hand, it's kind of like facing kind of like sideways a little bit. Do you see how mine is like that? Because you want, basically you're basing it off of this balance point of the left index finger here. And then it's like that. Check it out. So, yeah, your hands are bigger, so it'll be kind of different.
Yeah.
It's okay, though. Yeah. So we'll move along. Sorry, I have to keep...
It's still recording.
I know, but it's black, and I like to keep track of the time. That's cool. Great. Okay. So, let's see. Let's move on to posture. It's basically, the same for most instruments, but flute's kind of different because, if you have someone like right there, it gets kind of uncomfortable. But your left foot should be slightly in front of your right foot. Yeah, we can move our cases off to the side. And relating to like a music stand, if you had one here, your left foot should be at 1 o'clock, and your right foot should be at 2:30. Kind of like that. And then, of course, we'll sit on the edge of the chair with our feet flat on the floor. And just some common mistakes before we begin, just to prevent them. You don't want to goose your neck forward like that, because that's not going to make a really good sound. Don't raise the left shoulder too much, like some beginner flutists will probably, when they're playing fast passages, will be like, so just don't do that. And ducking or raising the head too high, like that. So just don't do those. And yeah, that's basically posture. You just want to be like nice and relaxed the whole time. And next we'll explain the embouchure. So how about we just take off our head joint by gently twisting it off, and then we can put the rest of our flute just, sitting in the case, because in our lap it might fall down. Okay. So, mouthpiece placement, I will explain that first because you obviously need to know where it goes before playing it. So we're going to use this technique called plant and roll. This is where you're going to put the mouthpiece hole where your lips are, like kind of where the middle of your lips meet, and then you're going to roll down. Can you try it? Good. Maybe go, yeah, that should be fine. We'll test it. Okay. So just another reminder, the slip plate mouthpiece placement is really important because it's one of the main balance points. Okay. Also, just to check throughout, if you decide to play flute later on, make sure you practice with the mirror. Throughout this whole class, whenever I practice in front of a mirror because you won't know what you're doing wrong unless you have someone else tell you or you know something weird in the mirror.
Right.
Yeah. So then, actually, the embouchure lip part, you want to pretend you're saying we too. Like the we makes your corners firm, and the two kind of sets up the proper aperture hole. And the aperture is like the size of the hole.
Okay.
So can you say we too?
We too.
Two. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So basically, lip plate. You will feel it in like the curved part of your jaw there. Like you'll feel it kind of planted there. And then your lower lip should be covering about 1/4 to 1/3 of the hole here. So I don't know if you can like feel how your lip is like a little bit covering the hole. Yeah. And then yeah, you're doing it right. Some analogies for forming the embouchure are also like blowing on a hot beverage, like you can like feel like the airstream and it has your corners firm. And then, yeah, maybe like spitting rice, like is also a good analogy too. Okay, so now we can start with sound. I was going to use a breathing bag, but we're running low on time. So basically, it takes the same amount of air as a tuba, which is cool because that's what you play. And you need to remember just to like fill up from the bottom when inhaling, and then release. And then you should feel like your lower abs, sides, and back and upper chest expanding when breathing. And flute's pretty tough because it has no resistance, so you will use your abs to control the exhalation. And another way of thinking of it is like inhale like a vacuum suction, and then letting it out. Like your chest is a reserve tank, and you use the air when needed. Yeah, but you want to hear like, yeah, that looks great. Okay, now we're going to actually make some sounds on the head joint.
Okay.
So again, let's have it in the place, plant and roll. And then I want you to take a nice big breath and say, now with the mouthpiece in place. Oh, and you want to cover up this end.
Oh, okay.
That way you can hear sound. You want me to demonstrate first?
Yes, please.
And you don't have to do the plant and lip each time, but in the beginning it just gets it in a comfortable place since it's unfamiliar. Here, roll it out a little bit more. Is your airstream going straight across? Because it should be kind of splitting where the hole is. Yeah, that's better. Can you aim your airstream a little bit lower? Yeah, we can test of like opening and making your aperture bigger and smaller and directing your airstream a little bit higher and lower, just like test getting higher notes and lower notes on here. Maybe like To get the higher range out, that helps me a lot is just tonguing harder, like, and then just normal tongue for lower. And then when you go lower, you want to kind of aim the airstream more low and use more air. See, yeah, so we are making sounds. That's great.
Getting something out.
Yeah, so that's good. Let's try a note on the flute.
Okay.
So let's pick it up again with our last couple of minutes. And I'm going to start with the note G, because that's a pretty friendly note. It's not too high, not too low. Do you remember hand placement?
I will see if I know.
Good. Good job checking.
Okay.
So fingers. Yeah, you need to twist so it's.
Oh, this.
Yeah, you switch. There's a bunch of
sorry.
keys on the bottom too.
I got
I'll tell
confused.
you. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I got confused too during class. And I'll be like, whoops. Okay. There we go. Yep. So skip. Yeah, make sure it's directly over it, and then you skip 2, and then you have these, and then it should be over like nope on this one. Yeah. Great. Okay. So, the note G. Oh yeah, also I forgot to tell you, the left thumb should be over this key.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And, okay, so the note G is on the left hand, 1, 2, 3. And then you'll hold down this key here.
Okay.
And then you'll also hold down the right hand pinky key.
Okay.
This is a good, we use this for a lot of notes just because it helps balance too.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll demonstrate the note and then you can try. You want to try it with all the mouthpiece placement and holding the flute. Okay. Oh, you're playing and rolling. Okay, great. Can you roll it just like a little bit? Yeah, maybe like raise a little bit higher. Relax your air more. Maybe it's easier if you try like, yeah, and just like keep it going, like take a big breath and just go. Hey, you got the upper octave. That's good, yeah. That's an octave up. That's really good. Yes. I find it easier too, I believe, for us low brass people, since our airstream goes forward.
Yeah.
It's so much easier getting high notes, whereas my clarinet friends, they're so good at the low notes because their air is directed lower. So you could try the high range stuff. So the high range G is the same, but you don't need this key.
Okay, don't need that.
So. Here, you can lift up a little bit more. And make sure that your air is like a laser beam. That's really direct. And that should be cutting against it halfway. Yeah, it takes a while to find the sweet spot too. I feel like you're puckering like that too much. It's really just, remember, like, we two. We two. And try maybe with your embouchure, say poo, 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 poo. It just really takes a while, but make sure that you're covering 1/4 of the hole. Do you want to try maybe in the future, since we're running low on time?
Yes.
Just I had to practice a lot with
Practicing
the head
mouthpiece.
with the head joint. It's so hard to like. It took me a lot longer than 20 minutes to get my notes out. But you got the basics, and you've done a really great job. And thank you for being my student.
Thank you.
Good luck with Flute in the future.
Thanks.